1, 2, ja. Wunderbar. Wir können anfangen mit dem ersten Vortrag. Als nächstes auf der Bühne ist der Trevor von A-EON. Und ich glaube, wer den Trevor kennt, der weiß, wie wichtig er für die Amiga-Gemeinde, für die Amiga-Szene ist. Und ich glaube, es ist daher auch besonders spannend, ihn jetzt einmal bei diesem Vortrag zu hören. Und ich hoffe, ihr werdet hier zahlreich erscheinen. Es geht mit Sicherheit um die Amiga-Computer der nächsten Generation, um Amiga One, um solche Geschichten. Und wir schauen mal, was er Neues zu berichten hat.
Next on stage is Trevor Dickinson, the guy you already missed on the stage, I think. And you must admit that his voice now sounds totally sexy, because yesterday was a bit too long, but he loved German beer, I think. Yeah, he did. Okay, so this one. He will talk about Amiga One X5000 and X1000 and the next Amiga One A1222.
He will talk about his projects, and we give him a warm applause. Without him, the Amiga scene would not be the same as it is.
And this event wouldn't be there either.
Okay. Okay, welcome on stage, Mr.
Trevor Dickinson.
Ja, great performance.
Collapsing on stage.
Das war der Vortrag von einem. Okay. Uns aus.
This one, this one, this one, this
Uns
one.
bitte ausschalten. 1,
Test,
2, 3.
test, test. No, this is this one.
Testing, testing. Oh, okay. Well, this is my third Amiga Germany show.
Du bist jetzt.
And I'm really pleased to sponsor Amiga Germany again for the third time. And when I come to Germany, I always drink too much beer. And last night was no exception. After the after party, Dave Haney, myself, Dave Pleasance, Ben Hermans and others, we were in the hotel bar. And I think we went to bed at about 5:30 this morning. So I'm working on New Zealand time. I'm from New Zealand. So for me, it's like, it's 11 at night. So I'm fine, right? I keep telling myself that. But for me, Amiga Germany, Amiga34 Germany is about us, people. It's about Amigans. It's not about companies. Because without us, people, there would be no Amiga. And I said it last night at the after party. If you were at the after party, who was there last night? It was great, wasn't it? It was really, really good. And friends and enemies sat together, because really there's no friends and enemies in the Amiga world. We are Amigans. And if we can't work together as Amigans, what are we doing here, right? So for me, this event is about bringing Amigans together to celebrate everything that's Amiga. You know, whether it's classic, next generation, whether it's different flavors of next generation, whether it's emulation, whether it's FPGA, it doesn't matter. It's all Amiga. So that's all I care about, Amiga, right? So now I've got that off my chest. I feel better. Someone gave me a bottle of Jägermeister this morning for my voice. I haven't drunk it yet. I said I'd drink it later. But I really wanted just to say, you know, we're here because of you. Without you, there would be no Amiga. Okay? That is the bottom line. So you, the Amigans, will determine how the Amiga progresses from here. You will determine if we continue into the future. You will determine whether there will be an Amiga. And I, for one, very much hope there will be. And I'm going to work towards that end. Okay? So, without going on for hours and hours about why I love Amiga, and I do, I'm crazy, but then we're all crazy, and that's why we're here. We're all crazy, passionate Amigans. Who's not crazy? Hands up, who's not crazy? See, you're all crazy. I knew it, right? So, next slide, please. You know, I'm supposed to stand here and tell you about all the wonderful things we're working on. And we are working on lots of good things coming up. And there's a new upgrade to the A-EON's Enhancer software pack, which adds oodles of new features. But it doesn't really matter, to be honest. We're still developing for the Amiga. We have about 22 developers, software developers, who work, some work full-time, most work part-time on the Amiga. They've all got other jobs. They all earn a living in IT or server administration or management, but they program on the Amiga because they love working with the Amiga. It's all about passion for them. So I'm not going to talk about that. Next slide, please. There is a new enhancer software core package coming out. It'll be free. It's free to developers and enthusiasts who want to actually create new software using the products we produce. Again, I'm not going to say much about that. Next slide, please. We're very fortunate in the Amiga world to have very talented developers. We have Daniel Musner here. He's over there somewhere. Hi, Daniel. Are you in the room? Yes. Hello, Daniel. Are you in the room? Look, I know he's in the room. First of all, he's about 2.5 meters high, and he's wearing a bright yellow top, and he's over there. And he's not listening. But never mind. We have great developers, and people say nothing's happening in Amiga OS 4 development. There is lots of things happening in Amiga OS 4 development. There's continuous graphics update going on all the time. I'm not going to say much about it other than if someone tells you nothing's happening, it's not true. There's lots of things happening. Next slide, please. Who's seen Viva Amiga, the movie? I thought that was a great movie, but too short. Far too short, right? I've contacted the producer, and we're producing a double-length movie, adding lots more interviews and features from the original footage. So next year, in the 35th anniversary of the Amiga, 2020, there will be a new Viva Amiga, and it will have double the length, 2 hour long. So I'm looking forward to that coming out. Okay. Next slide, please. Oh yeah. I thought I'd, cheat. Obviously, I'm not Steve Jobs. I'm too nice, right? So I can't be Steve Jobs, right? But he has a very famous line, one more thing. Now, if I had €1 for every time someone said, when's the A1222 coming out? When are you going to ship the A1222? Why haven't you shipped the A1222? I'd be very rich. Instead, I'm very poor because I had to fund the A1222. So next slide, please. If any of you were at Gamescom in Cologne, anyone at Gamescom? Yeah, that is insane. Almost 400,000 people. And I was on the Amiga Future display, and I helped Daniel with his Amiga 1 X5000, his Amiga 1 A1222, and we ran a selection of Daniel's games, and for the whole time it was completely, oh, thank you. How did you know I've been drinking all night? It was mad, and the Amiga Future display was all the time. There was people crowded around it, and Daniel's games drew a lot of fun, a lot of attention. So at Amiga, at Gamescom, we had demos of Daniel's Wings running on the A1222. We had demos of a port of Diablo running really nicely and fast on the A1222. We had Tower 57, Daniel's game. If you've tried that, it works really well. But people said, look, it's great, it runs. When can I have a table? When are you going to sell it? Please, take my money now. Well, I tried to take their money, but unfortunately I have a business partner called Matthew, and he's very conservative, and he wants to make sure that Amigans don't get ripped off, and that we deliver on what we say we're going to deliver. Next slide, please. Next slide. So I'm pleased to announce today, first time ever, at Amiga34 2019, that we are releasing an early adopter edition of the A1222. It will be a special low price, €400, and that will include Amiga OS 4. It will be the most powerful, low-cost Amiga next generation computer ever, right? So as an early adopter, you will get the latest version of Amiga OS 4. I have a CD in my bag over there. We're working with Hyperion. Hyperion are now putting all their effort into getting the ISO completed for when the hardware is delivered. So you can expect in the not too distant future to see a pre-order request. If you're interested in buying one of the special early adopter editions, you can register. There might be a small deposit, but not a lot. And we will then produce a limited batch of the table. Why a limited batch? Okay? The Amiga 1 A1222 has been ready for 3 years, the hardware. Various things have conspired to delay the release. I'm pleased to say that most of those have been resolved, but the hardware works really well. You'll see an A1222 over there. Hyperion are now focusing on getting the ISO finished, and it will be delivered with the A1222 motherboard, the Tabor motherboard, and you'll be able to get updates, regular updates, as the operating system and files and drivers are improved. Expect the fully commercial version of Tabor to come out sometime next year at a higher price. But if you want to get in, and you want to get in now, it'll be at the lower price of 400 euros. So I'm really pleased to say that. Before I finish, what I'd like to, I'll take questions, but before I finish, I'd like to take a picture of all of you, because this, without doubt, is the biggest Amiga show in the world. I didn't think there'd be many people here today, because after yesterday, it was crowded. There must have been over 500 people. But today, we've got more people coming in who weren't here yesterday. So it's really good to see you all, and I'd like to take a picture of you before I leave. But before that, any questions? Please. Sorry, so the question is?
It was very loud here. So do you have say something about the timeline of the pre-registration, pre-order registration?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, all right, yeah. Okay, what's the timeline of the pre-registration? I'm traveling back to New Zealand tomorrow. I'll sleep on the plane. And then I'm going to Ami West in about 10 days' time. So at Ami West, I will announce the pre-registration. That's my plan. Okay? I haven't told Matthew Lehman yet, so he doesn't know. I'm only half joking. Yeah.
Can you say a little bit about the difference between early adapters version and full version? What's missing? Okay.
The reason why we're doing an early adopter version, the hardware was ready 3 years ago, and it's proved very reliable. It's great. But because it was 3 years ago, some of the onboard components, minor onboard components, are now obsolete. In the mainstream computing world, components go obsolete very quickly, right? So we want to produce a limited run with the new components and make sure there's no problems. We'll create 5 boards plus the limited run, and we'll use those to make sure everything's okay. And then the limited run will give you a fully working hardware and the latest work in progress Amiga OS 4. And the only difference is you'll get updates for Amiga OS 4. So that's the main idea.
Any more questions from the audience?
Go on, don't be shy. One more question? Oh, you're a hard audience. I don't know. You think you were drinking all night, not me. Anyway, I'm really pleased, but I would like to take one photograph of all your smiling faces. And what I'd like to do is say, we are Amiga, right? I'll go 1, 2, 3, we are Amiga. Can we practice? 1, 2, 3. That's rubbish, come on. It's Sunday morning, you know, you've all slept well. 1, 2, 3. We are Amiga. That's great, that's the spirit. So.